the first guy to be in all three of our Tournament of Champions events. But first of all, he's got to get by his opponent today. So let's meet our two bowlers. That opponent, a very tough customer indeed. Won a match last week, coming from more than 40 pins down in the final string. And without throwing a single strike, managed to come back and win the match. Steve Vadney from Claremont, New Hampshire, our number 2 seed.
Okay, and a fine 420 last week. And carries an average of 128, has a high single of 191, a high triple of 493. Qualification score, as I mentioned last week, 679.
And an overall record now here on Stars and Strikes of 22 wins and 9 losses. But it had been a long time since Steve had won an event here on our program, so he is back to try and make it 2 in a row and get into the Tournament of Champions. But before he does that, he's going to have to get by this next guy, who, as I mentioned, is our defending Tournament of Champions titleist from Hopedale, Massachusetts, Paul Berger.
And Paul comes in averaging 130, has a high single of 191, a high triple of 493, and his roll-off score 707.
So we have 3 strings of bowling coming up between Paul Berger and Steve Vadney to determine this series championship and that qualification spot into the Tournament of Champions. We also have bonus money to talk to you about in our bonus ball contest, too, at the end of the show. We'll take care of all that business after we take this time out. 3 strings of bowling coming up. Steve Vadney and Paul Berger with the big money on the line, and we'll have it right for you right after these words. Our number 2 seed, and Paul Berger, our number 1 seed. And happy St. Patrick's Day, by the way.
Thank you.
Well, I meant to everybody. Well, not just to you, but to everybody.
Name like Murphy, you know, it's my day. I shouldn't even really be working.
I'm surprised you're even here.
I know.
Holden, Gallagher, party, come to the front desk, please. Johnson, party, come to the front desk, please. Johnson.
8 boxes remaining last week. Steve Vadney was trailing by 41 pins, and he came back and won it. And in the match last week, Steve had 18 marks, all of them spares. Starts off with a 10 box here.
This should be an interesting match, and you can't find any 2 bowlers that are any more gentleman-like than these 2 guys either.
That's right.
Credit to the game. 1, 2, 4, and 9 left for Steve.
A couple of 10s for Steve Vadney. And now Paul Berger, who has been here a total of 6 times and has won 5 of those matches. And interesting, as I mentioned at the top of the show, he's been in both previous Tournament of Champions events. In 1989, he was the number 6 seed, and he lost in the very first match of that tournament to Mike Morgan. He threw a 399 and lost, in fact, as he wraps around the 10 pin there. And then last year, he made it a little easier on himself. He came in as the number 1 seed, and he beat Al Cloutier in the championship match with a 391 to take the $1,500 first prize.
And that was opening up with a big opening game, wasn't it? Yes, 175. And then he come back with one of those 90 games. We don't even say them loudly. You never know, but
well, each bowler open in the first 2, and just a 6 box for Paul.
Well, interesting there. He had the 1 pin plus the 4-7 in the left, 6-10 on the right, and he elected to go for the head pin, trying to get 3, 4, possibly 5 pins, and instead he just got the head pin. So early in the match, taking a chance to try to get an extra pin or 2.
On the head pin, and Steve Vadney carries the 5 pin, leaving the 9 and the 10 with wood. Well, it'll make it interesting. I don't know if it makes it easier, but
problem could be the 10 pin.
Yep.
But I don't think he wanted to play that far left. He had to play the wood in front of the 9 and the 10.
Still there. And if you're thinking ahead, the winner of this match qualifies for the Tournament of Champions, but the winning score, the three-string total for our winning bowler today, is very important. And there's a strike for Steve Vadney, the first one he's had in 2 weeks. It's a slow one.
Yeah, but they look the same on the scoreboard. Oh boy, out goes the 2-pin.
The 4 bowlers that have already qualified for the Tournament of Champions are in this order. Joe Ashline is at the top with a 456. Paul Berger barely missing a spare conversion there. In second spot is Gary Carrington with a 446. Third is Pat Pay with a 390. And fourth is Tim Lipke with a 379. So the winner here today will fit into that picture somewhere. Well, this time Paul gets the 9 knocked down first instead of leaving 9. This is a little easier.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Maybe not.
Far left.
It's supposed to be easier anyway.
The Candlepin is tapered ever so slightly, so hitting it off the center, off the red line, it's going to turn. In that particular instant, it turned and went around the 10-pin.
And Steve Vadney takes out the 2-pin. This is on a strike, remember. See if he can recover. Ooh, my. Now he's got the 1 and the 8 knocked out of there, and it'll be a 3 fill.
We usually take a break second and third games, but maybe the bowlers would like to join. They'd like a break right now.
Won't be long now. We'll be revving things up here for the 3rd annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. It begins April the 21st. You're on WNDS TV 50. It'll run 5 weeks, and we certainly want to can't thank enough the people at Tri-State Megabucks for their continued support here on Stars and Strikes. They've been with us a long time now. And without their help, it wouldn't be possible.
The show's becoming more and more popular each and every year, so maybe there's some of those people out there that own their own business or something like would like to advertise should call the station. Glad to hear from you. Sure. I mentioned that tape date along, well, next Sunday is our final tape date for the last ladder championship of the season. And the following Tuesday, or a week from this coming Tuesday, I should say, on March 26th, is the Tournament of Champions taping. So if you're around next Sunday, stop in and see us. If you can't, 2 days from then, we'll be right back here for the Tournament of Champions. So
we'll be busy. And kicking out the 5-pin, Paul Berger leaves the 10.
The way these bowlers are starting off, look like they may have something to do that day of the taping, that neither want to make it. Finally, Paul puts a mark up in the 6th frame. This bowler is too explosive, a long ways from being over. I'm sure the scores are going to improve greatly as this match progresses. Steve Vadney 58 through 6th, and Paul Berger 55 through 6 with a spare up.
Oh, watch this one.
Ooh, very close.
Leaving the 2-pin. A 9-pin drop. Steve Vadney will shoot at the 6-pin for a spare. And he's got it. Well, Paul Berger got a big break there. Look at this. That should have been a spread eagle. And instead, it's a 9-drop. How about that? The 3-pin for a spare. Just like that.
Well, you never know. Unfortunately, I don't think there's been any studies done, but I don't know if these breaks actually even out in your favor.
Hey. Big strike on spare for $25 in bonus money for Paul Berger.
And how many times you see it happen, the good bowlers, when they get a break like that, they take full advantage of it, and so didn't Paul with a strike on the spare. Val's probably sitting back and said, do I have to pay $25 for that phone? I mean, yeah. He should have went through the middle. And
that pin stops there. It's in play, it appears.
Usually, most places, if it's in the light, chances are it's in play. But depending on where they're masking you, it's R in relation, and the lights are in relation to the pin. Sometimes that's not true, but.
Dottie was coached. One of the fans here watching waved to her. That pin was legal, and Steve not able to convert. Of course, we have extra lights down there too, which does make it a little different than the normal
that's true
lane.
Too. Got new lights all over this place.
That's right, in fact.
It's like needs sunblock out there. Strike in the 10th for Steve Vadney.
A chance to thank our director Jim Murphy and his outstanding crew for their weekly efforts here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Always trying to improve it for the viewers. Hasn't gotten us our captain's chairs yet. Need some backs in these chairs, but oh well.
I'm sure
first comes first.
Yeah.
Suppose we're lucky we're going to get a chair at all.
Spare on strike, and a 114 for Steve Vadney in the first. 113, rather. I'm always trying to give the bowlers the extra pin. You know?
I know.
It's just the kind of guy I am.
That's right, folks. He has 2 scoreboards he can look at. I know everyone's sitting at home. Can't he see those other scoreboards? I was going to say you were minus a toe, but you got an extra one. Paul waiting for the wood to settle down. The 1, 2, 7, and the 9-pin. Working on a strike, trying to keep the bonus money alive, and that close.
Well, whatever Paul Berger gets in this 10th box will be his lead in this match. As both bowlers are even right now.
Bedard party, come to the front desk, please. Bedard.
Yes.
Very nicely done.
That's a tough shot, too.
It really is, with a sleeper in the back. We mention that from time to time. It was just heavy enough on the 3-pin to drive the ball straight back for the 9, but it was able to catch the 5 on the way through.
So Paul will be right up around his average of 130 for this game. Well, maybe not. He'll have to settle for a 126 and a 13-pin lead after one game. Paul Berger and Steve Vadney for the series championship, and we'll be back for the middle game after these words. the end of today's show. And Paul Berger carries a lead into the middle game here. $500 to the runner-up, $1,000 to the winner. And how about that to start the string?
What a shot. Very nicely done. Just clipped the 4-pin and the wood at the same time. 4-pin took the 7, the wood took the 6-10. And a great opening shot by Paul Berger.
Well, I think it's fair to say that Paul's getting warm. He's got 5 marks now in the last 6 boxes. Make it 6 out of 7. And now Steve Vadney. Sliding to the left just a bit. For Steve.
Slot party, come to the front desk, please. Slot.
See what Steve can do with this one. The 3, 5, and 10. Nope.
Pair of 10s. Lead 22 plus the ball in favor of Paul Berger.
Oh, Steve's got him right where he wants him.
Yeah, that's right.
Trailed by more than 40 last week, so.
Mary party, come to the front desk, please. Mary.
This is on a spare, adding to the lead, 7.
And the wood, if it's, oh, it's rolling back and turning. It's not going to help a bit. Had a nice angle before. He needs some help. .45 through 3. Second game, 29-pin advantage now.
Come to the front desk, please. Mary.
Right on the head pin.
March party.
He was fortunate to get 4
March
from the way that ball went in there.
desk, please. March.
Great try.
Just staying alive for the 10.
Please, Graham.
Again, Steve Vadney seems to be hit a slight drought. It's 3 boxes in a row here that he hasn't got the mark.
March party, come to the front desk, please. March. Victor party, come to the front desk, please. Victor.
There's the end of the drought, at least for now.
Hear that. Strike up in the 4th.
And we will break after that series championship match here on Stars and Strikes. Glad you're with us on this St. Paddy's Day.
Hang on. Everything but the head pin.
And a spare. We haven't had a chance to mention it yet due to the timing of when we tape the program, but we certainly want to add our wishes, Dan and I and the rest of the crew here at TV50, add our best wishes to the troops in the Persian Gulf as we tape this show. The troops are still over there in conflict, and who knows, perhaps by the time this airs, it'll be closer to being over. But in any event, all of our best go to the troops and to the families of those who have people over there.
Oh, that close to making that spare. Yeah, that would be a nice thought, having that over and done with by the time this airs. But 58 through 5 for Steve Vadney. 73 through 5 for Paul Berger. Paul Berger already with a spare in the sixth. Ooh, I don't know if Steve wanted to come up that high. I think, no, I don't know. I would have probably tried to play a little lower to the 5-pin. That may have been what Steve was trying to do. In any event, 68 through 6 now. So Paul Berger has increased his lead to 28, and he'll increase that more with the drop on this ball. Wow.
That looked like sure bonus money when the ball went down there.
The 1, 3, 5, 9, 10, and just took out just the 1 and the 3. Yeah, he's almost got up to that magic 40 number. That's what Steve Vadney is waiting for.
Paul Berger with $25 in bonus money. Steve Vadney is yet to earn any from Val's Surplus, Route 111 in East Hampstead, New Hampshire. So happy for their continued support in providing bonus money for our bowlers here.
Nice angle on that piece of wood behind the 2-pin, and Paul Berger was able to take advantage of it fully and make that mark. So he's threatening to really run away and hide. 4 horsemen right, 1, 3, 6, 10. Of course, I'm sure we alluded to it at the beginning of the show, or the first game. Remember, it's the total pinfall, not only the win here to qualify for the Tournament of Champions, but also the pinfall will determine where the qualifier is seated. So not only win, but you'd like to win with a big total. And they range from 379, Tim Lipke's, to 456, Joe Ashline.
Well, wrong way.
Nice try, though. Great effort on the part of Steve Vadney.
Well, that wood, and it's a 9. Well, the fill on this mark could push the lead over 40.
Pretty powerful ball. Paul hasn't thrown anything yet, and it's fallen down on lane 31. He's on 32. Working on a spare. Never touched the 6-pin.
The lead is now 43. And another spare.
And a chance for bonus money.
Paul and his wife Paula live in Hopedale, Mass, with their 2 sons, Damon and Alex. All of them are here. Watching Paul bowl. 8 fill on that mark. And now the 5 and the 8 for bonus money. But wood, too.
Well, it may keep going. He may have a clear shot when it's all said and done. And that's what's going to happen. The wood rolls off into the channel. So 5 and 8, cover that for $25 bonus. Not to be.
Paul works as a purchasing manager at Sun Microsystems. 143 middle game. Two-string total 267. 269. They're still adding up, even as we speak. 269 after 2. A spare for Steve, and he really needs to make something happen.
Covers the 4 horsemen, makes it look easy. 96 through 9, and as Doug said, needs a big fill and another mark.
Lots of wood on the deck for the 7 and the 10. Nope. Oh, another 113 for Steve Vadney, his second one in a row, and he has a 2-string total 226. So Paul Berger in command for now. But remember what happened last week with Steve Vadney. 1 game to go to decide it. We'll be back in a minute.
One game remaining. Winner takes home $1,000. Runner up $500. But more important, the winner gets the qualification into the Tournament of Champions.
Spare for Steve Vadney.
Teresi Party, come to the front desk, please. Teresi.
Slipping to the left.
It's really starting. The baseball will, like an in-shoot, break from left to right. And it's starting to ball out too far to the left, and it's not coming back. Time overcorrected, missed to the right.
A 5 box.
Not what Steve wanted to do, starting off, being down by 43. Of course, Paul Berger was here to see last week's match when Steve Vadney come roaring back against Steve Reno. Oh boy. So he's going to try to not let that happen. Well, you got a lucky strike there. Sometimes you bury the next one, you get a double.
How about that? Well, probably deserved a double.
That close. A lot of times that happens.
Spare on strike, Paul Berger.
Put the shirt underneath here.
Well, this is kind of how it was going. Well, not really. Steve is struggling much more this week than he was last week. Even when he trailed by 40 last week, he had a pretty good score going because he was doing some marking. This week, he's been struggling a little bit more.
The last 2 boxes, he's just totally out of sync right now. He's got to refocus, get that ball out there in front of him.
Steve puts a spare up in the fourth. Steve left a piece of wood that was way off the pin deck, but well out of his way as he went for that spare. And he tried to knock it out purposely and missed it. And then he hit it on the second shot, and that's what the big cheer was.
Paul Berger trying to get 3 in a row, another $25 from his buddy Sal. Well, Val, not Sal.
Oh, he may have a buddy Sal too, but Val is the one who.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
His pal Sal pays him $25 too, and Val pays him bonus money. How many on that spare?
4 on the spare.
Okay. I gotta hurry and put these numbers in because Doug's cheating now, watching my score pad, and he'll really get fouled up.
Strike in the fourth for Paul Berger.
Okay, Val and Sal, ante up. 1 box too late.
We'll take a break. Paul Berger keeps adding to the lead here in the championship match on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Don't go away.
Against Steve Vadney, he's going against himself, just concentrating, hitting the object pin, get this total up to the point where it's mathematically impossible. But throw another strike here by Steve, and you never know what's going to happen. Gotta hurry. Just a little light. Well, hang on. Getting better by the minute. 3 and a 9 left for Steve, trying to get $25 from Val because he doesn't have a buddy Sal. And he does.
Yes, indeed. First bonus money of the match for Steve Vadney.
Paul Berger working on a strike.
Ooh.
Fill on the strike.
The lead is 48. You were going to let me drown there, weren't you?
I was going to see what you were saying. I saw you peek over the scoreboard here. Drop of 9 by Paul Berger leaves the 6th pin. So every mark he puts up, that's one less box that Steve Vadney has to work with. And he matches the mark already put up by Steve Vadney. Steve in a strike situation. He wants to get a couple strikes up there.
Five on the spare.
Some of you people at home are wondering, as we get closer to the end of this match, of just where Paul Berger or Steve Vadney, and right now it looks like Paul Berger will be finishing in relation to the other qualifiers for the Tournament of Champions. Right now in 4th place is Tim Lipke at 379. And it's a strike for Steve Vadney, trying to keep himself alive. In 3rd place is Pat Hay with 390 as we watch the replay of that strike. In 2nd place, it jumps quite a bit up there in the 400s with Gary Carrington at 446. And then the number 1 seed at 456 is Joe Ashline.
Well, it appears that Paul Berger will be above Tim Lipke and Pat Pay, depending on what he does here in the final 4 boxes. But it would seem that he's got a good chance to pass both of them, which would put him in 3rd spot. It would be a major jump for him to get up to Gary Carrington's 446. He would need, in this game, 122 to beat Pat Pay. and move into third place.
And he's right now at a 124 clip if you were to get 10 boxes all the way out. It's 24 pins over the 100 mark right now. Nice effort. Look at that. Actually picked up the spread eagle, right? And left him 9. He had the extra pin, the 9 pin. Oh, great shot. He just negotiated that front piece of wood, got by it, flipped the 9 pin for the 10 box. Right now he's at 373. Vadney looking for the double.
Oh, my. Might not even have done him any good at this point, but could have made it a little more interesting anyway. He'll take the strike, the spare on strike. Leads by 3 in this string, but remember he trailed by 43 coming in. So even with the double strike, it would have been tough. Boy, oh boy. How close. He's thrown now 3 strikes in the last 6 boxes, and he's had a couple of other close calls. And that's $25 in bonus money right there on that one. Spare here would give him 25 more, so that'll at least give him a little extra money to take home.
There's a $25 shot if he can knock these 2 pins down.
Give it to him. So a total of $75 in bonus money for Steve Vadney. He'll also take the runner-up check for $500 as he rolls a 373, which is exactly what Paul Berger has right now. Paul's won it with that ball.
Very good.
But obviously he is aiming to just throw up as many as he possibly can. Oh, man, how about that for a spare? Well, this is going to, as we suspected, most likely leave him in third place.
Right. It's going to, depending on if he was to get a bad fill, that definitely does it. Pushes him ahead of Pat Pay. And as Doug alluded to before, I mean, it's not going to catch Gary Carrington.
And Paul will move his record here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes to 6-1. The only loss was that first match of the Tournament of Champions 2 years ago.
Gives him 123 in the 9th, 133 plus a ball in the 10th, and if he was to throw a strike, it would be a $25 bonus. So a $25 ball for him, this last ball.
March, party, come to the front desk, please. March.
Maybe. No. Just faded a little bit at the end. It'll be a 6 drop and a 139 for Paul Berger. 408 to Steve Vadney's 373. Paul Berger takes home the check for $1,000, and as of right now, he is the number 3 seed in the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. We'll be back to talk to both bowlers and have our bonus ball contest in a minute. Year is going to be in the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions, but let's meet our runner-up for today's show, Steve Vadney. A nice round of applause for Steve. Not in the cards this time. Step right in here, Steve, and turn toward the camera so we can get a good look at you. And that check for $500 and also $75 in bonus money. So altogether, not a bad day's work. But Paul just kept going consistently at a good pace all day long. Kept the pressure on.
Yeah, first string when Paul had some bad wood there, missed some single pins there, and if I could have capitalized, it would have been great. And I threw a strike, and it looks like things are going to go my way. And then I picked one, and 2 more with the next ball, and I don't think I hit the head pin 4 times the whole match on alley 32. And that was, the first 2 strings off the head pin, and I think that was the whole match.
Well, it's always good to see you, and one more chance still to qualify for the Tournament of Champions this year. We got one more taping to go starting next week, so if not then, we hope to see you sometime real soon.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Steve Vadney, our runner-up for this championship match. And now let's have Paul Berger throw the bonus ball. We've got $30 in the jackpot this week. And, of course, a couple of sets of brand-new bowling balls on the line, too, from E. Perella Company in Medway, Massachusetts, if we get a match. Oh, my, it's a big one. It's a strike. So Dan's going to have to try his best to pull out a strike card here. And has he done it? No, he has not. The guess is 6, and can't quite get the name, but it's from Pelham, New Hampshire, it appears, and we will straighten the name out, certainly, and send an NHCBA TV50 desk pen set along, but it is not a match in any event, so we'll have $40 in the jackpot next. And standing here next to me right now is Tony Cataro, the assistant manager of the Wyndham Tool Company, who, of course, is our participating sponsor here on this show. Paul, slide right in here close, because I know Tony has something he wants to give you.
Congratulations, Paul, from Wyndham Tools, so you can buy $5,000 worth of tools out of this $1,000 paycheck.
Thank you very much, Tony.
Have a good one. That's not bad for a week's work, right?
Yeah.
Paul, quick word, just were able to keep the pressure on, as we said. You had a nice, strong finish that last box of the first game to get a little lead, and then just built from there.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. I had some singles that I missed early with some wood that I played poorly, but the biggest break was that Steve didn't have any luck all day. So I was very fortunate.
Well, Paul, congratulations. We're going to see you in the Tournament of Champions again. You're a regular now, and so we'll see you in just a few weeks when that begins. And Tony, again, for all the folks at Wyndham Tool, thanks for your continued support. We appreciate it, and we'll see you both later on. Thanks very much. That's it. That's the end of another series here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes, and next week we will begin our final 4-week series in the regular season, if you will, before we get into the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. So Paul Berger adds what is already a star-studded field.
Field of thoroughbreds in the game of Candlepin bowling, and we need one more, and it'll start next week.
All right, we hope you'll be with us next Sunday at 12 noon. We will have 5 brand new bowlers and be looking for our last qualifier for the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole crew, Doug Brown, bye-bye, everybody, from Park Place Lane.